Well, hello there, my lovely audience on YouTube. Do you remember it wasn't that long ago I did a tech review of the amazing Dyson DC35 stick vacuum? It was basically a year old for me, and I was very keen to tell you all about this machine because I learned a lot about it in its first year of its life. As you may be aware, doing tech reviews was a bit of a departure for me. I don't really get into this sort of video on YouTube, but I tell you what, when I looked at this vacuum cleaner, I wanted to make sure that I presented it in a way that sort of no one else could. I knew one of the best features about this vacuum cleaner was the fact that it's very robust, and in the video I showed it getting knocked around a fair bit. In fact, I clobbered a few toys with it along the way. What I never expected was that there would be some people who would come in and claim that I actually used two Dyson DC35s in my review video. They seem to struggle with the fact that this machine could get smashed around so much yet still work. They basically thought there was a dummy machine, the one that you see getting dropped onto the floor over and over, and there was another machine that you saw on my table being cleaned. I can assure you guys there was only ever one Dyson DC35, and this is it. It's got the markings of where I hit the toys in the video still, and even people pointed out the thumbnail on the video was one of the clean machines. I mean, I don't know what to say. But in my video, I also wanted to show that you can actually change components on this easily with one hand. I wanted to make that very, very clear. And also my video talked about some of the problems I had with my machine. That was with the battery. The fact that the battery can lose a little bit of vital connection there. And also for the fact that the fine dust collection area can get a little bit clogged with very fine dust. But to my surprise, I've been rewarded for that review. And I'll tell you what, this is a beautiful thing that I've got. Underneath there is a gift from the Dyson company. Let me reveal it for you. It is a Dyson Digital Slim DC59 Animal. In my Dyson DC35 review, I'm pretty sure I said it was one of the most impressive little cleaners that I've brought into the home. But I tell you what, I bet you this Dyson DC59 is going to smack the 35 completely out of the ballpark. Well, let's come in for a bit of unboxing. I'll probably know lots about this product in a year's time, but because I've already owned a Dyson DC35 for a year, I'm going to be very sure that this product is going to be great out of the box. I learned a lot about my Dyson product for using it for a whole year. Oh boy, and this looks impressive. I'm going to have to do a bit of debagging and deboxing here. Dyson stuff's always boxed really nicely. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that bad puppy. It looks great. Looks like a jet engine to me. And I think this one's got 2 tiers of cyclones, whereas my 35 doesn't. I'm pretty sure it's got a much more powerful motor. Oh boy, this is going to tear up the home, I can assure you. Oh, I love unbagging stuff. And you know what? This actually feels lighter than my Dyson DC35. When I've got this out of the box fully, I'll put this on the scales and I'll see if it is. It just, in my hand, it just feels a little bit lighter. Oh, there are all sorts of tools and accessories here. Sort of some wacko brush thing. This looks like the main headpiece here, which is where it's all at with vacuum cleaners. Really, the magic of a vacuum cleaner is the way the head's designed, and I can't unbag it singly, can I? I'll get to that soon. And there's all sorts of other bits of accessories here. It looks like more stuff in this than what came with my 35. But this is surely a very exciting gift for me. Okay, I have unboxed and unbagged this beautiful Dyson DC59 vacuum cleaner. There's all sorts of bits and bobs there. But if it's the first time you've got into these, the best thing to do is get into the operating manual. But don't worry, if you don't like reading, it's not going to bother you because there's all these beautiful pictures which explain very, very well how to clip all this together, how to get the charging station up and running, and most importantly, how to keep this machine clean. It's really important to keep these clean. And what's really different about this one versus my earlier model is the little filter, the fine filter is in the top of this machine. In my 35, the filter lays between the motor and the dust collection area. What I've noticed with Dyson is, as each model evolves, it is an improvement on the model before. That's what the company's all about. They're all about improving and making, eventually, the perfect product. There's the main vacuum cleaner, I dare say, dust collection area, motor, battery, whatever. I mean, it looks impressive. I still say it looks like a jet engine to me, and that's why I'm half impressed. Here are some of the tools. Here's a clevis tool that's a little bit different to my other Dyson. It's got some holes in the side here in this one. I don't know what that's for. Maybe that's something someone can explain why it'd be different. This is a bit of a multi-tool. This one's a bit of a brush. You can also pull this back and you get that. You can go down and clean beside chairs and things like that. I mainly use this tool for cleaning the car. There's also this one here. It's an upholstery cleaner. I think this is sort of what you get when you get into the animal version of their cleaners. It's motorized. I dare say it'll pick up all of the fine pet hair and stuff if you've got them on your upholstery. We don't have pets. The only animal in our house is me. Here's the main head that does the cleaning on the floor. This is actually very different to my 35. It looks bigger, it looks wider. Underneath, I notice there's a little wheel here that I haven't got on the other one. There's also got a door here that opens up on the bottom, which I'm yet to work out what it does. There's the roller, which is a slightly different design as well. And it's also, the roller can be easily taken out by the end here, if I get the right end. That there, and you can pull the roller out and easily clean it. There's a charging station here. That's the charger there. The charging station goes up on the wall. The tools can click into the bottom there, and your machine will sit in there up on the wall, out of the way. The most important thing to say. There's the wand here, which is purple on this one. And what is sort of interesting is I've put a few things on the scale. This is actually lighter than my DC35, and also what's interesting, this wand is slightly longer and it's also slightly lighter than the one on my DC35. Anyway, there's a bit of a rundown of what was inside that box. Let's do a bit of a Dyson weigh-in here. There's the new DC59, there's my old DC35. Let's put the 35 onto the scales first, and the weight is 1,285 grams. Okay, remember 1,285. Let's get the newer one on, the 59 on. 1,227. So it's lighter, but how much is it lighter by? Let's sneak in a little friend of mine. And we've got 1,286 grams. That's very, very close. So the Dyson engineers were able to whittle away nearly 60 grams on this new Dyson DC59, but most importantly, it gives me the opportunity to sneak in a Thomas the Tank shot. Well, hopefully I'm going to show you how this Dyson DC59 sucks much harder than my earlier Dyson DC35. I've got a camera cleaning cloth here. Both machines are set to max. There's a max button on the back, which I like to use. There's the 35. Just remember that suction there from the 35. Let's put it across to the 59. Let's give it a suck. Oh yeah. Now hopefully you can see from that 59 sucks a lot harder. Let's try the 35 again just to be reminded. Oh, it's got it in there. Let's go across to the 59. See how hard it sucks. Whoa, yeah. Now that's interesting because where I live, if you say something sucks, it usually means, well, maybe it's not too crash hot. But I can assure you that sure, the 35 is an impressive machine, but I can already see that this 59, well, it sucks. Sure, the Dyson cleaners come with a little charging station where the vacuum cleaner is stored, but you can also just plug in the charger in the back here to charge up the battery. And while we're thinking batteries, that's one of the differences between these two models. The Dyson DC59 has a battery which isn't removable. My earlier Dyson DC35 has a battery which is removable. The problem with this battery was that sometimes the terminals would get dirty, or the terminals up in here would get dirty, and the machine would think it had a bit of a dud battery. The machine would shut down and stop cleaning. My trick to getting it working again was basically get the battery in and out a couple of times, and that would actually scuff the terminals together and it would come back to life. I only had that problem a couple of times. I read on the intranets how to fix it. That's how I solved my problem. But Dyson did a much better thing by solving the problem by making sure the battery was a permanent installation on future models. I can see other changes between my two Dysons. On my earlier 35, the fine filter is sandwiched between the motor area and the dust collection area. It was a bit of a fiddle to get out. There's a button on the top here which splits the machine. But Dyson have simplified this and they've mimicked their larger machines, and the filter now resides in the center of the cyclone area there. It's much easier to get out and a much simpler design. Another curious design change between my old Dyson DC35, which is on screen, is the way the dust bin opens up. There was a lever on the side here, but there's also a second little button here that you use to remove this dust collection area for full cleaning. The Dyson DC59 is a slightly different animal. There's a lever here, and I'm going to flick with my finger. It opens the bottom of the dust collection area. If you reset it, it makes that click sound, and you pull it again, and I'll be able to remove the whole area there for total cleaning. And while I'm putting my Dyson DC59 back together, it's probably really important for me to point out what's really good about Dysons, and it's these dust seals. Sure, I've owned some very inexpensive no-name vacuum cleaner machines, and what lets you down every time with those are the dust seals. With the Dyson machine, the dust seals are very well designed, and that's to stop the dust from recirculating and getting back into the house. I think for me one of the most important parts of a vacuum cleaner is the cleaner heads. That's what really defines the cheap stuff from the good stuff. The cheap stuff will have really poorly designed heads, which basically miss a lot of the dirt and have very weak brushes. This is my old Dyson DC35 head. It's fantastic. I mean, the brush is actually a little bit worn now. It gets used every day. I've had it for over a year now. But I tell you what, I've flogged this machine while I've had it. And the head is what is really amazing about it. That's the thing that does all the boogie woogie on the ground. And it picks up a lot of hair and stuff. You can easily take the brush out and clean it. What I do notice is that on the 59, and I'll line it up at the end here, the 59, which is at the back here, has a head which is a bit longer. It's also overall just a bit bigger, and it's also got areas which open up. And I've got a funny feeling this back panel comes off for the purpose of some extra cleaning. Anyway, let's get one of these shots in. I know you love them. And I have a sneaky suspicion that this piece will just come off, and I dare say it's just for easier access to clean, because I'm pretty sure there'll be lots of dirt and stuff which will congregate in there, and it'd be really nice to be able to get in there and clean it correctly. Another curious design change is the way these heads articulate. Those little wheels there is what rides on the ground when you're using the machine. They're very important little wheels, but in the old DC35 head there's like a bit of what I call robot arm in there. It's like flexible tubing, and in a strange way, you know, you can pull to 90 degrees, but you're sort of really pulling it to get there. In the DC59, it's a bit of a different design. They've made a very nice custom piece of, what I call it, bent plastic, which now does this very, very funky move. And it pulls to 90 degrees much, much easier than the old DC35 design. There is also this mysterious little wheel, and I think I've worked out what it does. That when this is down on the ground pretending you're vacuuming, you're getting a full 180 degree arc on that arm there. But as soon as the head is lifted up, you can only get a 90 degree turn. And like that still baffles me to why there's that change. Maybe I need to read the operating manual to understand that one, but somehow with Dyson there is always a reason for change. I'm sure someone's going to answer that one for me. Here's a curious one. My DC59 will not accept the powered components from my earlier machine, the DC35. It's a slightly different sort of fitting, and it's more to do with the electrical side than anything else by the looks of it. If I get the head, of course, for the 59, it'll go straight in there and be a beautiful fit. These vacuum cleaners have a max button on the back. I've always used my cleaners in max on. That's off at the moment, and that's on. I like the sound of it when it's on. Oh, I can tell you, this is fantastic looking. Look at that brush go. That is going to stop for nothing. Let's not forget, I've got my little powered upholstery brush in my Dyson DC59 Animal. Never played with one of those before, but what I like about all the accessories on these machines is they are really easy to clip in and clip out. Noticing that I'm only using one hand, the other hand is very carefully holding a video camera, and the upholstery brush is on. Let's give the upholstery brush a bit of a spin. Oh yeah! Well, from what I can see, that floor brush is a fair bit longer than the upholstery brush, and that's sort of saying to me, well, there's going to be a whole bunch more suction going on in this shorter area, while those little red bristles are pulling up all the nasty stuff. Considering I've got two of these beautiful Dyson stick vacuums now, I think a nice way to do a bit of a comparison video between the two of them is to take first the DC35 into the house. There's that piece of carpet in the middle of my house, which is the main traffic area. I will go over and clean it with this vacuum cleaner. It does that sort of every day in our place. I know it does a good job of that area, but then what I will do is go over the same area with this brand new DC59, and considering it's got a fair bit more suction, a bit of a bigger head, I've got a feeling it's going to do a better cleaning job. But hey, I'm going to have to go in there and find this out for myself. Okay, I've brought both of the Dyson cleaners up into the house. The DC35, which I'm going to vacuum with first, has been totally cleaned out. I blew out all the fine dust from the cleaning area. I've put a timer on it. I'll set the timer for 1 minute. Both these cleaners will have 1 minute on this carpet down here. This carpet is in the middle of our house. It gets all the walk-through dirt deposited on it. The rest of our house is mainly wooden floor, and of course there's a bit of garden outside. But that there is the test patch. Okay, I'll start the timer on the DC35. Away we go. Only cleaning for a minute. Let's see how it goes, picking up all the dirt here. This is a job that it does every day. We gave this a big clean down when it was 1 year old. Made a video about it. And that video was sort of spoofed on this video. I'm not doing any particular pattern here, I'm just working from one end to the other. Oh yeah. I never thought I'd do videos about vacuum cleaners, but here I am doing them. Looking pretty clean. I'll keep moving over this. And that's the minute up. Oh yeah. And after that 1 minute of cleaning, I can see it has picked up a whole lot of dirt from that carpet. Well, from me looking down onto the carpet there, I'll be quite honest with you, to me it looks pretty clean. But who knows, that Dyson DC59 may find some other angry critters down in the carpet that we quite can't see. It's time to give it a test. This will be the first clean for my Dyson DC59 and I have the timer set. Okay, time to do the DC59 clean. Here we go. Oh yeah. I tell you what, this is feeling very different. It's very interesting to see how much this picks up. Boy, you can see the carpet really being cleaned. Wow, this is very impressive. I tell you, it's got a very good feel. This could be even better than my bigger Dyson. Ooh-wee. Well, I can tell you straight away, this is a killer machine. Ooh, whoa. Got 10 seconds to go. That's it. Whoa. That has picked up a heap of dust. Well, I can tell you straight away that Dyson DC59 Animal is an amazing machine. I could just tell by the feel of it as it was cleaning. It really has sucked up a whole ton of stuff that really you couldn't see. And that's the sort of nasty thing about dust and dirt. The DC35, which went first, has done a good job as well. But I think the best way to see what each of these has picked up is to take them down to the garage and analyse what's in those dust bins. Well, I'm back down in my little workshop, Humpy. I've got my two machines down here. I'm going to empty the dust from each machine out into these and we'll probably clearly see what they've picked up. And what's interesting with the first cleaner I used being the older DC35, it picks up hair on the roller there, and you know, I showed you in another video you can pull that out and do a proper clean, but most times after a few cleans you just come along with your fingers and you pluck out the hair that gets caught up around that brush. Instead of going through the hassle of pulling out that whole brush there to clean it. Okay, I'm going to dump the dust out of the DC35 after doing its minute clean on that piece of carpet, which is the bad puppy area in my place. And from what I can see, I've got all the dust out of there, and it has picked up a fair bit of dust. There it is there. That was the first cleaner to go over the carpet. And I'm coming with a brand new DC59, opening up the dust area. Holy moly. It has picked up a lot of stuff considering it was the second to go over that same piece of carpet. Just checking to see that I've got all the dust out of the dust collection area. There is some very fine dust left in there. It is the first time this vacuum cleaner has been used. But look at what it's pulled out of that carpet, considering the other vacuum cleaner has gone over that. That is quite remarkable. I've even surprised myself with this one. I never expected these results. Let's take a closer look at what went on here. Here is what my first vacuum cleaner, the Dyson DC35, picked up after 1 minute on that piece of carpet. And you know what? I thought the carpet looked pretty clean. It's picked up some fine dirt there. It's picked up a lot of that larger dirt, which is pretty typical of what you see in the carpet. But, you know, a bit of fluff there, a bit of fine dirt. I really thought it had done a fairly good job. But let's take a look at what the next vacuum cleaner did. Doing it for the same amount of time. This is from the DC59. This is quite remarkable. Look at how much stuff this new Dyson DC59 has picked up, and I really thought that carpet was clean. What is really scary here, and this is the stuff that Mr. Dyson talks about, look how much of that really fine dust is here. This is the stuff you just cannot see. Could you see that in the carpet before I cleaned it? I certainly couldn't, and it's picked up all this fluff. Where was that? It's just amazing what this vacuum cleaner has picked up. And I tell you what, this has really taught me a lesson about that new vacuum cleaner. You know, it's funny, I go back and read the box. It says 3 times the suction of any other cordless vacuum cleaner in use. Now, of course, this video is going to age, time's going to go on, and there's going to be better vacuum cleaners than that appear, and I'm pretty sure that Mr. Dyson will be the person behind them. But what I've got to say to myself is, and the next obvious test, it won't be in this video, but I'm going to have to do it, is put this amazing vacuum cleaner up against my other big Dyson and just see how it performs, because I've got a funny feeling that once you got this, it almost alleviates the need for that other larger Dyson. But hey, I'm going to have to go and do a test to find this out. I should probably come in and show you the head on the DC59, which did the second clean. I don't think there's any hair in there. Mind you, I think the DC35 picked up most of the hair that was on that carpet, but that brush is looking pretty clean. I'll be quite honest here with you. I used to quibble about the price of Dyson because I've bought a few. The first Dyson I bought was a DC39. It was excellent. It had me come in then and buy the DC35 out of curiosity. I was a bit curious about their smaller machines and how effective they were. I was so impressed with this machine. I made that video after I had it for a year, and I showed people how to clean it, and I showed people how robust it is. That's a really important aspect to this vacuum cleaner. You can throw it around and it will not break. That video impressed Dyson so much, it had them send me out this machine, and I tell you what, I can see why they're very keen for people to know about this machine, because look what this machine can do. This is amazing. Now, would you ever question, I'm not going to talk about price because hey, I didn't pay for it, but how much would you put? How much price would you put on picking up this sort of dirt when you couldn't even see it? That's the part about Dyson that you just got to say to yourself, go and buy it. It's worth the money. Now, if I see an El Cheapo stick vacuum cleaner, I might go along and buy it, and I might put it up against this machine. I'll tell you what, I know who's going to win. I know there'll be people who come and analyze this video and they're going to try and pull it apart, and they're going to say, Leo, you're presenting fake stuff. I have not added or taken away anything from this video. What you see in this video is exactly what happened. I'll be quite honest here, I never expected these results. It's just amazing how much dirt and filth the DC59 has picked up, considering it was the second vacuum cleaner to have a chomp on that carpet. The DC35 has done well. I'm sure it's had a better result than most of the El Cheapo stick vacuums that you would pick up, and the fate of my DC35 will be this. I'll bring this vacuum cleaner down to my workshop to be like a little workshop vacuum cleaner. I'm sure I'm going to keep it very busy. I like blowing stuff up, and quite often there's bits and pieces all over the workshop to be sucked up. I will put the DC59 up into the house. I'll give it a good workout for a year. I'm sure I'm going to have a much cleaner house for it, and I might take another look at this machine in a year's time. And let's remember, if I have any of those nasty big spiders or horrible Chernobyl cockroaches, I've got a new Dyson to say hello to them. Well, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's taught you something about the Dyson products. As always, thanks for watching, and bye for now. Well, up the end of this video, I'd normally put a fail reel, but this time I'm going to put a personal thank you to the Dyson company. It's really nice that a company has got some faith in me as a video producer to show one of their products on YouTube and show it hopefully in the best light. But always remembering, I'll do a balanced review. If there's a problem with something, I'm certainly going to tell my audience. I can see why you were very keen to send me out the Dyson DC59. It's a very, very impressive machine. I still can't get over how much dust that pulled out from the carpet on that second time I went over it. Showed that to my wife. My mum was in the home as well. They were both amazed, and I'm pretty sure when people look at that video footage on this video, they're going to be amazed as well. And I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to have to repeat that with another vacuum cleaner I've got. But let me just go over this here again one last time. You know, it's one of those videos where people are going to start pulling it apart. They're going to start to say, Leo, you're faking gay. There is no way I would try and fake presenting this sort of stuff on the YouTube. And if I swing around to the other table, in fact, I'll grab this. I think the next logical step in this is to basically put my Dyson DC39 up against this smaller Dyson DC59. Now, what's sort of interesting here is this Dyson here, it actually cost me a lot of money, but it has come down in price a lot. If you look around in Australia, that's the sort of deal you can get. You can get it for $446, and it's now called the DC37 Origin. I don't know why they changed the name, but all I know is that that vacuum cleaner is a pretty awesome vacuum cleaner. But I also know that Dyson have improved on this again, and there's a much better one that's about. I'm sort of wondering if I'm maybe the person to be the perfect person to test it. But nevertheless, this video was about this Dyson DC59, which I cannot fault after its first little go in the house. It's highly impressive, and I tell you what, it's going to take a lot to beat that in my books. Well, that was a bit of a double whammy ending, but I really needed to say thank you to the Dyson company. I'm very appreciative. Again, thanks for watching, and bye for now.